is KPC Radio with Behind the Bakery, a series all about checking out the newest blend of California rock from the newest band, Pog Champ Bakery. Today we have another member of the group, member Nate Ramirez, the rhythm guitarist of the group. Nate, it is a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Nice. I'm very, very blessed to be here, man.
I appreciate having your time here. Well, to get into the first question of the interview today, really, I simply have one question for you, and that's, what did you originally start when it came to performing with the band? Was your original role, and did you first start originally as that role, or did you progress into another?
Got you. So my original role in the band was just mainly rhythm guitar, and now it's evolved to sometimes lead here and there, but right now just mainly rhythm.
So you started originally into the band as a rhythm guitarist. That's always been your role.
Yes, correct.
What got you started into practicing rhythm guitar? Was it always something you were passionate about, or did you practice with other instruments? Did you start with music in the beginning? What's your story when it comes to performing as a rhythm guitarist?
Rhythm guitarist. So I mainly got serious about rhythm guitar when I joined this band, actually, because I realized as a 5-piece, it's very important to have 2 guitars. And the rhythm guitar is basically like almost the backbone. Like the rhythm guitar like matches with the bass and the drums, and so yeah, I feel like it's a really important role.
So you originally started it as more of a need for the group, not something you were mainly interested in. You were thinking about the band as a whole.
You're right, yeah.
Excellent. So you wouldn't say that rhythm guitar was something you were passionate about before the group? It's something that you grew into with the band?
Correct, yeah. I wouldn't say I was very passionate about rhythm guitar before the band, because before the band, I'm really into the solos and lead a lot, but I really do like rhythm guitar though.
You mentioned solos, by that I assume you obviously mean guitar solos.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you consider just in general, was it electric or acoustic guitar to be your original passion before you decided getting into rhythm?
Electric guitar.
Electric guitar. So what would be your main inspirations you would consider when it comes to electric guitar? Was there a particular group, a particular artist, a certain genre that got you into it? Maybe a certain family member?
I'd probably have to say Cream, and the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Cream and the Jimi Hendrix. So you bringing up those 2 bands, that's a lot of big names when it comes to the psychedelic era of the 1960s. So would you consider the 1960s psychedelic era to be a major influence on you?
Yes, I do think it has a really huge impact on my style of playing, and yeah.
Has it been something that's influenced you since you were a kid, or is it something recently that's impacted you in the last few years?
So yeah, something recently that's impacted me in the last few years.
Was there any other particular genre or era of rock that you were into before you grew into the 60s psychedelic era?
I wouldn't say no. Yeah, no.
So you would just consider Cream and Jimi Hendrix to be really the bands that got you into your passion for playing guitar in the first place?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's get away a little bit from your story, and let's go more into your story involving with the band. Well, first I'm curious to know, with each one of the band members, I'm asking this question of what was your audition process like for the group? Were they already just looking for rhythm guitar playing and just happened to be the guy that was willing to do it, or was there a process for auditioning that you had to come in and audition for your part or in your role?
Yeah, so there wasn't really any audition process. It's pretty funny. Andrew just hit me up one day, and he's like, "Yo, do you want to jam with me and my coworkers from work?" I'm like, "Yeah, totally be down," because I was looking for a band to join in, So I was really happy to be a part of this. And then yeah, for the audition process, there wasn't really any. We just got together, jammed, and it worked. So yeah.
So Mr. Reese, the lead vocalist of the group, brought up this story before, so you can confirm that the origins of the band was really a bunch of co-workers getting together to start a group, and you just happened to get invited into all this mess.
Yeah, bro.
So when you started, as you said, there wasn't really an audition process. So when Pog Champ Bakery started, was it something you guys considered, or yourself, to consider something very professional, or was it just you wanting to jam out with a couple of friends?
Well, I've always taken, from when I first started 2 years ago, I've always taken it pretty serious, I'd say. But yeah, I think it was just more of just jamming with your friends, and seeing what we could come up with. And I feel like so far we've been doing really good, and now we're actually kicking into gear and taking it more serious.
So you would say recently is when the group altogether decided that they wanted to take this more professional, get their word out there more, not just be a garage band?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. You bring up the fact that for the last few years you've been trying to consider getting into music seriously. Have you considered to join other bands before? Were you performing for other bands before you decided to join into Pog Champ Bakery?
No, this is actually my first band I've ever been in.
Impressive, impressive. Well, getting into our next question. To go back to your role as the rhythm guitarist, as you mentioned, it wasn't something that you were particularly excited about at first. It was something that you were needed for the band to do, and that's what got you the role in the first place. Are you satisfied as a role as a rhythm guitarist, or are you currently pushing to get another role into the band or experimenting with other roles?
I'd say I'm pretty satisfied and content with rhythm guitar right now because, like I said, it's a really huge role in a band, So I'm really happy right now.
So, when it comes to the members of the group itself, it's something I've already been asking the other members of the idea, as hearing that you all started originally just as much co-workers, getting the group together in a garage. Was there other members in the band before you came into the group? Have they replaced members throughout the few months that you guys have been around, or have you guys been rather solid with your lineup?
Yeah, we've been rather solid from when we first started. Yeah, it was all five of us when we first started, and yeah, still going.
Has the band considered trying to get other members in the next few months, or even replace some people? Any conflict with that, or have you guys really stuck solid with the 5 lineup?
We really stuck solid with the 5 lineup. I don't see us having a need for another member, a 6 member. So yeah.
So, when it comes to the sound of the band, what would you describe the sound of Pog Champ Bakery to be like, if you had to describe it?
The sound of our band, I would probably have to describe it as like punk mixed with like indie, mixed with like a little bit of pop here and there. Also a lot of like classic rock, I'd say a little bit of elements of that.
Does a lot of that classic rock element come from your passion of a lot of psychedelic rock, or are the other members of the group just as passionate of the classic rock era as you are?
I'd say just like we're all like we all love all sorts of genres,
Okay, so it's not necessarily just a certain member that's putting a lot of the sound to the group. You all together put in your say what you want the sound to be like.
Exactly, yeah. We all contribute.
Okay. What would be your current influences, you'd say, for the group right now when it comes to the sound of the band together, to go for indie rock and classic rock, as you mentioned?
Got you. So my influences as of right now, probably like, I'd have to say like Blink-182, like that, the punk stuff. What else? Like the Stooges. I really like. I'm really into them right now. Who else? Let's see. MC5. They're another punk band. They were from the 60s and 70s. They were from Detroit.
So, from bringing up a lot of those things, Blink-182 to the Stooges to even 60s bands from Detroit, it sounds like you still really have a lot of, even when it comes to new sounds such as punk, to be really stuck in all of the past with a lot of the classic rock roots. So, would you say with bands like Blink-182 that you're now currently trying to branch out into listening to more modern bands, or are you still really nostalgic and stuck in listening to the classics?
You're correct on that, bro. What's it called? I am diving into more modern music just so I can find a good sound with the band. But I also love like this old 60s and 70s stuff because like, man, you can't beat that stuff. Like, that's just like iconic. It's just a pivotal era for music right there.
Of course. To get back into the sound of indie rock and classic, what originally got you guys to decide that was going to be the main sound you guys wanted to focus on? Was it just something unilateral? Did one of you guys start pushing for it? What's the story in that?
I'd say we just like, I don't really know, man. Like, we all just like made the song and then we like decided after the fact, like, all right, this song sounds more like, like indie, and then this song sounds more like, like has elements of that classic rock or like punk.
Excellent. So going back into a little more of the music production of the group, bands like the Beatles famously, halfway through their career, once they stopped touring, famously were known to heavily experiment and try all kinds of genres in the studio. Do you consider right now or have wishes for Pog Champ Bakery to start focusing more on experimenting with new kinds of sounds, or is that something you guys are already currently pushing for?
No, I really... We're starting to right now a little bit, but I really like... I already know, like, we're going to, like, experiment a lot in the future, dude. Like...
So you're confident that the group in the future will start experimenting with new kinds of genres?
Correct, yes.
Excellent. Okay. Well, when it comes to that, getting away from the music production side of things, going more into the live part, the performances, what I would consider the blood and soul for any iconic group. What would you describe the first performance of you guys to be, and when did it take place?
So our first performance was sometime around in August. It's actually crazy. It was like because we formed in July, and then our first show was like literally next month after. And
So just in 1 month, you guys are already confident enough to go, let's try to pull this off. Let's do a show officially as Pog Champ Bakery.
uh-huh.
And then from there, what would you describe that feeling to have been for you doing your first show? Were you comfortable with it? You already excited? Or did you have a little bit of nerves when it came to going on stage to perform for people? Where did you perform, actually, adding on to that?
We performed in Andrew's backyard, our lead singer's backyard.
So your first show was a backyard show.
It was, yeah.
Was it something mainly family and friends oriented, or did you guys try to get a big crowd into that show?
We tried to get a big crowd. You know, we had a few buddies here and there. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
How would you describe your emotions when it came to that first performance? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you nervous that you're going to forget some words? That's something you hear of a lot of other famous bands throughout history, that they were always terrified of going on stage. George Harrison, speaking on the Beatles, would talk about how he was always shy on stage. Did you describe yourself being shy when the performance started, or were you already very confident when it came to that first show?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty nervous because it was my first time performing in front of a live audience ever, and yeah, I had the jitters, but after a few songs, I feel like we had it going.
So you think after a few songs you were pretty comfortable when it came to performing live?
Yeah.
Would you say that the rest of the band was quite as comfortable as you were, or did anyone else struggle when it came to really pushing to perform live on that first show?
No, man, the rest of the guys were all pretty comfortable. Two of them, the bassist and drummer, Tommy and Trevor, they've already had experience performing live, so I was pretty confident in us.
That's excellent. So you're bringing up the fact that a few band members have already had live experience. So it's not necessarily that the whole group is really fresh out of the bag. It's other people are more seasoned compared to you.
Yeah, correct.
Do you feel a bit of sometimes a little, not to insult you, but sometimes smaller compared to the other band members when it comes to their experience compared to yours? Or are you confident that you're able to keep up with them despite they're more veteran experienced?
I mean, I do have that little, a little bit of, that little bit of what's it called, like intimidation, I guess you'd call it, but I feel like I can hold my own, so yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Okay. Now this is really the last question. This is something I'm really interested to hear about from you and every other member. So you guys have officially been around for 3 months, correct?
Yes. Correct.
3 months, part of Pog Champ Bakery. And this being your first band, correct, that you ever been a part of?
Yes,
So,
first band.
First band. What do you see yourself in the future, in the next 5 years into the future with Pog Champ Bakery? Do you still plan on staying? Are you excited where the band's going? Or have you already considered looking for other bands? Do you see yourself maybe venturing into their career? Do you see yourself sticking with Pog Champ Bakery?
Yeah, I see myself sticking with these group of guys, bro. They're really solid, they're really dedicated, and it's what I've been looking for, for a fat minute, you know? Some, dedicated musicians, because, I want to take this to the next level, you know? I'm really serious about it.
To get back into your answer, you bring up taking it to the next level. What would you mean by taking it to the next level? Maybe going more mainstream, or finding your own kind of crowd, maybe trying to get a more national or global audience?
But, yeah, taking it to the next level, I'd probably say, having, published albums out, you know, and, having, not a set fan base, but a pretty solid fan base, you know?
When it comes to finding a solid fan base, are you having any difficulties when it comes to trying to set up a fan base right now, or do you guys think you're quite confident right now in your marketing? And what would be your main form of marketing right now to find that?
At the moment, I feel like we still need to work on getting a good fan base, but at the moment, from only being a band for 3 months, I think we're doing pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie.
Excellent, excellent. And then really to just have one more question when it comes to the next 5 years. Do you still see yourself in the next 5 years in the near future to stick as a rhythm guitarist, or do you hope or plan in the next 5 years to start venturing into other roles in the group? Maybe being a vocalist, a bassist, a drummer?
Yeah, I'm definitely sticking as a rhythm guitarist, and maybe in the next 5 years, yeah, I probably would consider doing vocals here and there.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Nate Ramirez, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for taking your time with us. This is your moment to be able to promote any work you have out there, any work of the band that you currently have. Is there anything we could be looking forward to in your personal work or anything with Pog Champ Bakery that the audience from KPC would love to know?
Got you, man. Yeah, so our debut album should be coming out sometime in the near future. I'd say by like hopefully December, January, somewhere around there. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. And we do have a demo on SoundCloud of Morse code. So yeah, go check that out if you can.
That's excellent. Nate Ramirez, once again, thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen of KPC Radio, this is Gabriel O signing off. You have a lovely day.